really Woodlands have embraced everything that PINS is about, and you've really got your pupils involved and your parents involved, and the whole school community has kind of come together to make it more inclusive.
Absolutely, and I think the starting with the parents has been really important, and then being able to drip feed into the classrooms, our teaching partners, our teachers, our children. That's been really great, but to have the parents take that lead on what they want has been very valuable for us parents.
And the great thing now is we're in that embedding period. So, although all your kind of input stop with PINS, you're still doing all that work, aren't you? And, we've had some fantastic feedback from parents here about the difference they've noticed and how they're kind of seeing that inclusion being embedded within schools. So
I think one that was a really lovely comment from one of our parents was around how teachers and how staff at school had changed their approach with their child, and that it had really positively benefited the child, and that was something that we wanted to do. So it shows like our neurodiversity training, the EBSA training that we did, our training on masking, all from PINS, really helped all of our staff reflect on how they co-regulate, how they support children with transitions, all of that. So it's been so good.
And again, that came from parents as well, didn't it? Because right at the start, when we had that parental engagement, that was some of the themes that came out. I mean, as a school, you'd identified as well that there was some training that you wanted all staff to have as a refresher.
Yeah.
But parents also said, we really want school to know more about masking. We want school to understand a bit more about EBSA. And so that was able to come together.
Absolutely. And I think the neurodiversity training, because that one's a broader scope, because we've done so many trainings on specific needs, so ADHD, autism, dyslexia. However, you don't always get offered that broad neurodiversity training in terms of lots of different needs. So that was really, our staff said that was a really good training to have.
That's fantastic to hear. And I guess that helps with all those children who maybe don't have a diagnosis, but have got some of those needs. And sometimes those are the ones who can fall through the cracks a little bit. So that's fantastic. We had the final engagement session. We had a parent was telling us what a difference that made to her child.
Definitely.
That actually her child was coming home and feeling like he could be much more himself at school, and that he'd really
wanted
felt
to come in.
Yes, it had obviously been a problem for him in the past. So it was great to hear that's impacted the pupil to the extent that they've been able to see that change at home as well. So,
and I think that leads it nicely onto that EBSA training that we also did, because although some of our children aren't at the point of non-school attendance with EBSA, we know that it's a really broad spectrum with EBSA, and it can start with just not wanting to go to school. And if that's left to build, and that worry is left to build, the barrier to come to school is going to increase and increase. So we've definitely seen in some of our children that acceptance, they feel that we've accepted that they need certain things in school. They feel like they belong at Woodlands, which is what we really wanted to strive and aim for.
And I think that's really helped parents as well, because some of that feedback we got at the first session was that parents who were in that place where that transition into school was really difficult, and they were getting their children into school, but it was a really hard process, that they wanted school to understand how difficult that morning had been, and how tricky that process was, and how much it was taken out of them. And what we're hearing is that actually that has changed, and that parents can see the impact of that EBSA training. So what we're hearing again and again is those key things that actually parents raised right at the beginning. Woodlands, you've taken them on board, haven't you? And you've really thought about them.
We've really tried, and I think it is a journey, absolutely. And we've got lots more things that we want to implement, and lots more learning journeys that we're on in order to make our school a safe environment and a welcoming environment for everyone. It's definitely, we're always welcome for feedback to help us and to help the children.
But it's lovely to see that you've been co-producing those things with both parents and pupils and working together. And when we talk about pupils, we can talk about the wonderful posters that your Year 5 group made.
Our Year 5 group have been absolutely fantastic. They've really thrown themselves into learning about neurodiversity, and actually our Year 4s were really impacted by the assembly that our Year 5s did, where they showed their posters on neurodiversity, And our year fours have now been going and researching in books and like stories about neurodiverse children, and they've been creating like their own profiles about children and coming and showing us. So we've really seen the impact on other year groups just from fantastic. That year 5.
That's almost like a kind of rolling impact, isn't it, of where you've kind of seen it going down the school. So, and on to that as well, that's brilliant. So it all kind of came together and you've been able to really kind of work with it and build on it. And, you know, Woodlands has really sort of led for doing that, of being able to listen to what everyone's saying and take on board all the different experts that you've had come in as part of the PINS project, and really make kind of changes to school that are long lasting and meaningful.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just hope that we can just carry on getting the really helpful feedback, and once there might be more implementation, then carry on with the drive that we've had. But yeah, there's lots of things that we still are really excited to get done. But yeah, little steps at a time.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. We look forward to embedding it with you.
Absolutely.